What's up, peeps? It's your boy CJ, and today we're reviewing the NAMICA Neo Tokyo. Let's get it. Okay, so here is the NAMICA SHIRAHAMA Neo Tokyo. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way, shall we? Remember, if you're new to the channel, click that like button, hit the subscribe button for more videos, and if you don't like the video, like it anyway because it supports your boy. Let's get into it. So the Neo Tokyo has a case size of 40 millimeters, case thickness of 12.7 millimeters, a lug to lug of 47 millimeters, and a welcome lug width of 20 millimeters. Features 316L stainless steel case with DLC sandblast coating, 120 click unidirectional bezel with a sapphire insert. Nice. It has a double dome sapphire crystal with inner anti-reflective coating. Features BGW9 Swiss Luminova, 200 meters water resistance, and all that in a package of 632 Australian dollars, which is 417 USD. So good. Okay, so how does the Neo Tokyo wear? Well, as you can see here on my 7-inch wrist, pretty perfect. The height, even though it is 12.7 millimeters, it does give off a higher top, and I think that's because of the short lug to lug. It's a bit more prominent because of that short lug to lug, in my opinion. The bracelet has extremely beautiful articulation, so it hugs the wrist really well, and being that those lugs are quite short, it sits pretty perfect in the middle. So for me, really ideal. Really love it on the wrist. Let's have a look at that pocket shot. So as you can see here, pretty spot on, just a nice all-round comfortable fit, and I think it looks pretty good on my wrist. So let's take a deeper look into this Neo Tokyo. So features a 120 click bezel as mentioned. That gorgeous sapphire insert on that bezel is such a nice touch. I love the feeling of this bezel. It is really stiff and firm, but not in a low quality way, but more of a reassurance of quality type of way. It feels solid, connected. It's almost like there's nothing that's going to hit this bad boy out of touch, and there's no backplay whatsoever. It's just pure quality. I also love this dial. I'm a sucker for texture, and while I'm not a massive fan of purple, I really gotta admit this vertical brushing with that fume effect on the edge is just outstanding. There's not many watches out there that can do this really well. I guess the first thought comes to mind is Seiko and Grand Seiko with their dials, but this is extremely well done for a micro brand in my opinion. I love how minimal the dial itself actually is, with just the NAMICA logo as well as automatic, and I really like the layout or chosen layout of those indices with the circular indices as well as the batons and that upside down triangle at the 12. The beautiful chaptering sloping up on the sides there with those red markers at the 9, 3, 6 and 12 is quite a nice touch. It gives the dial a bit of depth, which is always a favorite for me. And then I always love a bit of dome when it comes to the crystal itself, and as you can see here, it's done really well. The case shape is something a bit more on the stubby end because of those lugs, but this is in no way a negative. I feel like it's again reassuring when it comes to the feel of the watch. And then you got a sign crown there with beautiful knurling, again providing that reassurance. I also love, as you may know, or the fans of the channel may know, I love a good case back, and to see the Japanese waves on this is just some beautiful touch. we got the bracelet here with that milled clasp, double push deployant with the signed NAMICA logo. And this bracelet itself feels beautiful. It's soft. The actual articulation is incredible. Doesn't seem that way here only because there's so many links itself. Everything is solid links, and I think it's a beautiful touch. I do have to talk about the coating itself. This DLC coating is not like PVD. This is a lot more hardened and will be more resistant to scratches. I feel it's a nice touch. I've never had experience with a matte sort of DLC finish, and it's something unique, something pretty cool. So now let's talk about the star of the show, and that's legibility. With this lovely Fume dial, you can obviously see that those white indices is a perfect choice. Just in the shadow alone of this watch shows that it's extremely legible. I actually quite like the pink hand, with the second half having that blue tip, something I naturally would have thought I wouldn't have preferred, but it's really a nice combination. Very cyberpunkish, futuristic synthwave effect. So I think when it comes to legibility, NAMICA has totally killed it with this one. But the star of the show really is with the lights off, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so as you can see, NAMICA shines extremely bright. This is insane lume, and it's such a joy. I've been wearing this for the past week and a half, and just driving to the shops and back, coming back into my garage and just seeing this beautiful blue BGW9 just shine is just, it's such a joy. One of my favorite features of this watch. If you visit my Instagram, you can actually see that every post I've made at least features the lume in some sort of way, because it's just a standout. So top marks here when it comes to legibility and lume. Okay, pros and cons, final thoughts. This watch has really shocked me. I honestly never thought I'd like this style of watch or this type of watch. It's really unique, really different. That purple Fume dial is something special. I feel like NAMICA nailed this combination of white, pink, purple, blue, red. Every color choice here was just spot on. The minimalistic part of the dial as well is such a nail in the coffin, you know, they just drove it home, and that vertical brushing of the dial is just, it's spectacular. I really love a watch that has the date complication, but I truly feel like this was a great move, making it very symmetrical to not include that date. The Sapphire bezel insert, as well as the feeling of that reassurance with this bezel, is just top notch. I'm a big fan of the crown and how it feels to actuate, and then the actual look of the watch itself is super cool. I don't have many cons, but there is something that was quite disappointing. I wore this desk diving to work one day, and in all honesty, while this bracelet is really nice and comfortable, I found that the clasp itself was digging into my wrist, and not in a general way, but more in a painful, sharp kind of way. This portion itself was really digging into the wrist, and no, the bracelet wasn't too tight. It was the perfect fit, which it is now. Just enough looseness to make it be able to swing a bit, but I found that it was really digging into my wrist over here. Extremely uncomfortable. But that was only after about 4 or 5 hours of literally pressing it on a desk. So it's not the biggest con in the world, but it is something that I had to mention. For me, I'm not really a big fan of the top heaviness of the watch. It's not really noticeable here as I swing my wrist, but you do feel it throughout the day, and you can sort of see it there. It's quite top heavy, but the bracelet is fantastic. And then my last con would be the fact that while I do like this coating, this DLC coating, or at least I should say the black bracelet and case, I think I would still prefer a stainless steel version. And that's the cool segue into how NAMICA actually provide multiple colorways of this watch. They do have a stainless steel version of the case itself and bracelet. There's also a light baby blue color as well. So I'll be putting those on the screen here for you to see. And that's it overall.
Well, there it is, the Neo Tokyo by NAMICA. A really cool, futuristic, synthwave cyberpunk watch that is a new take on divers that I quite like. The lume is insane, the build is solid, an all-round crazy cool watch. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Really keen to hear what you think of the future of dive watches moving forward. Remember to watch out.